Hi, my name is Mike Nawrocki. I'm the co-creator of VeggieTales and the creator of the new Sea Squirrels animated series. Welcome to Page to Screen.
Hi, I'm Iris Johnston. Welcome to Page to Screen, where we explore the art and craft of screenwriting and independent filmmaking. This time, we're going to explore a topic that a lot of our members keep asking about, writing for animation. And joining us is our very special guest and pioneer in the animation and home video industries, Mike Nawrocki. Hi, Mike.
Hi,
Thanks
Iris.
for coming. Hi.
Thank you so much for having me.
Great job.
Thank you.
Hi. Sea Squirrels, love the poster. This looks like a lot of fun. My kids are grown up, but that looks like something they would definitely want to check out and watch. So pitch it to me, or how did you pitch it when you wrote it or got in the room?
Okay, so 10-year-old boy named Michael. He is in Israel with his dad, who's an archaeologist, during the summer on a dig. Michael wanders into a cave with his best buddy Justin, who he's brought along with him, and they run across these two salt-encrusted, dehydrated squirrels.
They
have no idea how they got there, and they think they're dead, you know. Mm-hmm. He thinks they're going to be really great souvenirs.
Sure.
And so he stashes them in his backpack and smuggles them back home with him to Tennessee, and he sets them up on his dresser, kind of as two action figurines, and because they're stiff. Opens the window so they don't stink up his room, and it rains that night, and they rehydrate, desalinate, and come back to life. And it turns out Merle and Pearl Squirrel lived in the 1st century, and they have a lot of important lessons and stories to share with Michael and his friends.
Sea Squirrels took a vacation. Sea Squirrels suffered salination. Sea Squirrels dehydrated, do it. We're not dead yet. Sea Squirrels now we animated. Sea Squirrels look how long they waited. Sea Squirrels bet you want a new pet. Are you dead squirrels? We're not dead yet.
I love this idea.
Yeah.
Did you have to pitch it very much? I feel like the first producer would be like, done, we're making it.
Well, it's fun because, I had developed this when I left Big Idea in 2016. I was trying to develop it as an animation show, and a buddy of mine who was in the publishing industry said, hey, I think this would be a great early reader series for kids. And I hadn't thought about that, but I thought, okay, that's interesting. So I went away, did some research on what that would look like, and kind of developed it into that. Mm-hmm. And then he set up a pitch with Tyndale Publishing out of Chicago, and they loved it, and I got started on the books.
That's great. Okay, so now we get to see a clip of it, I think. Do I have it right? Yes.
Yes, and this is the open of the pilot, the first few minutes of the pilot.
Let's see it.
Shade, shade, beautiful shade.
We're gonna live!
Hey, I've never been in a cave.
Don't get any ideas, Merle. My mother used to say there are only 2 types of squirrels in the world, tree squirrels and ground squirrels.
We could be the world's first cave squirrels.
Really, Merle?
I know. I heard the same thing from my dad.
Never go into a cave.
It's good advice, Merle. Remember what Paul said, honor your father and mother.
Moses said it first.
Actually, God did.
Okay, you got me there.
You're never too old for good advice from God.
And you. Oh, it looks so cool back there, Pearl. Can't help it. Just gonna have a quick look.
Merle, you come back here!
Dr. Gomez! What do you suppose it is?
I'd say Coke, possibly Fanta. By the way, have you seen the boys?
Michael, where are we going? We're exploring. We're not supposed to know where we're going. And we are excellent explorers.
Hold on. Justin, what is that?
I can't tell.
Maybe it's a dead bat. Oh, a pet bat would make us the coolest kids in the 5th grade.
Pretty sure a pet dead bat would make us the creepiest kids in the 5th grade. We have to go! Michael, we gotta go.
Just give me a quick boost so I can see what's up there.
We don't have time for quick boosts.
One quick boost. Singular.
All right, but hurry up.
Just hold your flashlight in your mouth. That's what explorers do.
If I do that, it'll fall and break when I scream.
Why do you always just assume?
Nailed it.
So that looks like a lot of fun. How did you come up with the idea, Mike? Dehydrated squirrel, ancient squirrels.
Well, it started off with a bad pun, obviously. Dead sea squirrels, right?
Yes,
instead of
yes,
squirrels,
yes.
found in
I got it,
the caves. But I had the inkling of that idea for a number of years because one of the limitations that we always had with VeggieTales, of course, VeggieTales is a faith-based property.
Right.
But we drew a line in the sand very early on with VeggieTales to never portray Jesus as a vegetable because of obvious reasons.
You had to have your boundaries.
Yeah, clear boundaries. Yeah. So I wanted to have some sort of a way to, not go back to Bible times, but have, characters who maybe kind of Encino Man, like the Encino Man version, of.
So it was part of your sort of concept inspiration.
Yeah, exactly. So the majority of the stories take place in the modern day, but when there is a question that can be answered by Merle and Pearl, who lived in the 1st century, we flash back in song to the 1st century. So all that's a kind of a place for great music to go back and kind of deal with that theme musically.
Okay, so you had this great idea. A publisher encouraged you to make it into a young person's book series. Do I have that right?
Yes, yeah. The guy who became my literary agent was, he encouraged that. Signed me up with the publisher, started writing the books.
Take me from that. So it sounds like you wrote a few of the books first.
Yeah, I wrote a few of the books first.
And then now how do we get to this, from that to this?
Yeah, so another thing I decided to do around that time was go to grad school. And so,
busy.
Yeah. So so I met Steve Taylor. Steve Taylor and I had worked together for a number of years, and Steve helped found the film school at Lipscomb University. And so after I left Big Idea, he said, "Hey, Mike, have you ever thought about teaching?" And I thought, well, I kind of have. I'd love that, but of course, my undergraduate was in not in film.
No.
And so so I went back for my MFA, and in live action, but what I did is I used it as an excuse to actually get a pitch package together for the animated series of Dead Sea Squirrels, and
Nice.
so I adapted in screenwriting classes. I would adapt the books to screenplays. Yeah. And so by the time I got my MFA a couple years later, I had an animated series ready to go, and so I came out ready to go with this. I was approached with an offer to license it, but Steve and I had a conversation and said, well, why don't we figure out a way to produce the series here? And so we were able to raise some money for a pilot. We did the pilot. It turned out great. So then we went out and raised the rest of the money for the first season.
So, Mike, as usual, our audience members are raring to go to ask you some questions. So let's let them come up and start asking.
Great.
Sounds good.
Hi, Mike. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Charlie. Pleasure to see you.
I wanted to know a little bit about your courses at Lipscomb. How do you teach the course? I mean, when someone shows up, what are they expecting to get?
Specifically in screenwriting?
Yeah.
So our screenwriting for undergraduates kind of starts with talking about just formatting. What is the format of a screenplay, and the explanation that it's kind of it's part technical document and part artistic document. And so going through we use the Hollywood Standard as sort of our guide for formatting. Final Draft as our screenwriting software. So we talk about formatting, then we get into talking about story structure, and then and then story development. And typically we use Save the Cat as our kind of our guide through story structure.
Right.
So in our Screenwriting 1, students will come in, and I'll have them as their first assignment, they'll reverse engineer a silent film and write that. They'll learn a little bit about screenplay formatting, and then they'll reverse engineer a screenplay out of a silent film. And I use Piper's Pixar's Piper to reverse engineer that. So they'll get a little bit of practice doing that, and then they'll write 5-minute silent film, and then or a 5-page silent film, then an 8-page script as well, with character and dialogue, and then we'll start to develop a feature film and do like the first act of a feature film in Screenwriting 1, and then in Screenwriting 2, they'll take that first act and develop it into a full feature film and write that feature film in Screenwriting 2.
Okay, and then for like your shows, is there like when it comes to dialogue, is there anything taboo, like no monologues, because the attention spans are too short for that in a cartoon or anything like that?
I haven't followed that. I'm not a big fan of real, just like crazy fast animation, and real frenetic pacing. I like to, have things at a, probably more of a real life pace, So I tend to not operate on any of those kind of, oh, you can't do this, you can't do this. It just depends on the show and the personality of the characters, and there may be room for a monologue every now and again if it fits the story. So I don't know. Yeah.
Great.
No
Thank
hard
you.
and fast rules. Sure, you bet.
So your squirrels come back to Tennessee.
Yes.
And I'm curious if you could talk a little bit about the industry in Tennessee is putting together animated films and scripts, and how the shows get made in Tennessee with the people here.
Yeah. So we're actually, the way that we're producing the show is we're doing all the pre-production and post-production here, and then part of the production. And so in animation, the pre-production process looks like, writing of all the scripts and music, and voice acting and recording. And so we're using local actors here, both professional actors and student actors as well. So from Lipscomb University, which is where we're basing it out of. So theater students, we've cast some of them as actors. And then moving into production, Lipscomb has a wonderful animation program as well, and so we're incorporating. We have a practicum that we run for students, juniors and senior animated students who kind of know the software that we animate the show on, and they're able to animate typically a couple minutes of every episode, or flashback songs the students are working on. And then we partnered with an animation studio out of New Zealand to do the bulk of the animation for the show. So the students are getting a great opportunity to work with a professional studio, but then also getting IMDb credit for themselves and getting great opportunity there. And then we bring the shows back for post-production using local folks for scoring, sound effects, mixing, and that whole thing. So a lot of work is happening right here in Tennessee, which is exciting.
Great. And can you talk a little bit about how that has changed over the 30 years that you've been working in Tennessee and making shows? Oh yeah, I remember when we first came out with Big Idea and VeggieTales, and Governor Bredesen at the time meeting us and just welcoming us to. So we felt really welcome here. And Nashville obviously has a really vibrant artistic community, and I think obviously with music, but with Big Idea coming here and the number of animators that I see now in town and the program that we're building at Lipscomb, we're hoping to create a larger animation scene here as well. I know with stuff that's going on with Dead Sea Squirrels right now, Tom Bancroft, who helps run our animation program at Lipscomb, also has a new company called Pencilish, which is working on some animated programs here. An ex-producer at Big Idea, a friend of mine, Chris Wall, is now producing an animated series called The Wingfeather Saga.
Tale of legends come to life. Fangs, assemble! Anira is sacked and gone.
We can't stay here.
Bows ready! Shoot!
That's happening right here in Nashville. So a lot of great things happening.
Great. Well, thanks so much.
All right, thanks so much.
So one of the projects we're working on is episodic animated. I would love, obviously, with all your success and wisdom, any input you have on formatting for, I've seen a lot of back and forth in terms of structure, template formatting for an episodic animated. What wisdom do you have on what structure to follow?
In what sense?
So where to, oh man, and where you put the singing. So I've seen some people format the episodic shorts, 30 to 40 minute, following 3 acts, following 5 act. Do you have anything tricks that you found that work in terms of how you template your episodes?
Yeah, it's so funny because I've never really written strictly for TV before. So when you're talking 4 or 5, you're looking for commercial breaks.
Yeah.
And now that, so I went right from home video, not having to worry about commercial breaks, into streaming, not having to worry about commercial breaks. And so, and then particularly with Squirrels, which started off as a book series, so I was just writing these narratively. I would break down the chapters. Each book is about 20 chapters, and so I'd outline in kind of 20 steps, and then I just followed that through with the screenplay. So. I'm not really have ever followed the 4 or 5 act structure. So, but typically, I still like to develop a theme within a show that is a character kind of goes through a transformation, and then the theme is realized, and you kind of learn something at the end. I still follow that, but I haven't followed any particular type of act structure with the Dead Sea Squirrel series. VeggieTales was very much based on a 3 act structure.
Yeah,
they were all more like mini movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been kind of fun to kind of break out of that and do that, and kind of go. There's probably some structure there, but I'm
come on.
What's
the magical template? What's the magical template?
Yeah.
I tried. I tried.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like, and I think structure. Obviously, it's important when you're working with a larger show. And if I were to take and reverse engineer. Because it's a series show, so the story plays out across 13 episodes. So if I were to reverse engineer that, I think I would probably suss out a structure there.
Yeah.
So, but not following one specifically.
Oh man, how many books did you cover in the 13 episode?
12 books.
You did.
Yeah. So it's all 12 books. 12 books that are into 13 episodes. Because the last book we split into 2 episodes because it's kind of a bigger book.
Do you have any advice for people going the route of pitching animated? What advice do you have?
Oh, wow. It's so, there's no sure way on how to get something made. I was talking to somebody earlier, the way that VeggieTales came to life is so different from how, we're seeing Squirrels come to life. And so for me, it's like, just pouring yourself into something that you love, that you think needs to be out there in the world, creating some sort of a minimal viable product with it, whether it's an animatic, I think is a lot of times is really good to have. So, which, you can, cast your characters, you can do a story, storyboards, and then do a story reel together. So just so somebody can see like, okay, this is what this looks like before, so you can raise money to then maybe make a pilot.
No, that's great. That's good. No, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Oh, my pleasure.
So this is a quick thing, not really a question, more of a request. I would love to hear Larry the Cucumber one more time.
Okay.
And if you could say, keep on writing and keep on learning.
All right.
Okay, Irish, I'll do that for you. Keep on writing and keep on learning.
Thank you. That was great.
All right.
So we're out of time, but thank you, Mike, for taking time out of your busy schedule to come and talk with us. You have a standing invitation to come back anytime.
Thank you, Irish, so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
It is great. It was great. Page to Screen is sponsored by the Tennessee Screenwriting Association. To find out more about the TSA, including our meeting schedule, or to become a member, visit us online at www.tenscreen.com. For the most up-to-date info on Page to Screen episodes, air dates, and guests, check us out on Facebook and on Instagram. I'm Irish Johnston. Thanks for watching Page to Screen, and remember, keep on writing and keep on learning. Hey! Yay! Great.
Nice.
Totally harmless. It's just a paragraph. What could be wrong with this paragraph? It's 5 sentences, which is like the top end of what you're allowed to have, is five lines in a paragraph. 3 is better, 2 is better, but 5 is the tolerable level. But that slug line, oh my, it's on 2 lines. That's against the law.
I don't like that.
You can't do that. So that's a problem. So also, there's 2 spaces between fade in and the first slug line. You can't do that either. That's against the law. So take out the comma after the word Florida. That's got to go. You need to replace that with a hyphen. You get rid of Happy Village Garden and just say, in Sargasso, Florida, Japanese restaurant night, and you're back up to one sentence in the slug line.
Because what this writer is trying to do is give the name of the restaurant.
Yeah, we don't care.
We don't need it though. Yeah.
I hate to say, there's some things we don't need to know.
Okay.
You may think we need to know them, but
Right.
you don't need to tell us stuff.
Okay.
And go to the next page there, please. So there are the 5 lines. There's the slug line, and there's a typo after the word cover. It should have been covering.
Covering the
yes, the
walls,
person
yeah.
didn't print a proofread, obviously. So those are the things you want to do, and you change garden to restaurant, and you're good to go for this step in the process.
Okay.
So
Because
let's
there's
look
several
at
steps.
There's several steps,
Okay.
yes. So let's go to the next one, please. So here in my book, I have this list of 7 deadly sins of writing, and there are 13 in the book, and now it's up to 31.
Really?
Yes. And so
Okay.
is, and is, they're all circled in R.
are
The
bad.
forms of to be you want to get rid of because they weaken your writing.
Okay.
And then thee, and thee, that's also one. So if you write down there at the top, also where it says restaurant,
Yeah.
in the slug line,
In the
you don't
slug
need
line.
to say restaurant in your paragraph. You don't want to repeat.
Right.
You don't say interior restaurant. Look, we're in a
The
restaurant.
restaurant.
We're still in a restaurant.
Yeah.
You don't need to repeat
Right.
what's in the slug line
Right.
partway through. So, and then the last thing you can do is if you write cliche decor, which solves that whole first sentence, can go away.
Yep.
Just say cliche decor
Cliche.
and you're good. So I pointed out, now this is really funny. I've only read this 20 times. I missed a thee. The very first thee I didn't notice when I created the handout.
Oh.
So print to proofread.
So you can't go over it too many times.
Okay, so let's go to the next one and we'll
All right.
see the results of what we did this last time.
Okay.
So the original one's still up there. It's getting shorter, you'll notice. So
I
there's
like
cliche
it.
decor.
Yeah.
Now, the front half of whatever, you just say half seating, half buffet. That's all you need.
Right.
And then at the very end, you get rid of the and is all that's left. Just say filled with customers. Because screenplay grammar isn't exactly correct grammar. It's just so they get it and
Right.
move on.
Right.
And then this is a format mistake. Customers needs to be in all caps because those are actors and they have to be hired.
Right.
So when you
Okay.
meet them in the story, they have to be in all caps.
Okay.
So make that change,
All
and now
right.
we're done. So go to the next one,
Okay.
please.
It's going to be exciting.
Oh, this is
See
great.
how much shorter
So
it
there's
is.
the original,
The original's on top.
and the new, now correctly rewritten short one is
right
nice,
below
tight,
it. The
clean,
second
concise.
fade in. Oh, and it is so much shorter.
It's so much shorter.
So much shorter. And,
so
the reader will be so much happier.
very, very much happier.
Yeah, because that takes so long to read.
Yeah,
and
when
you're
you read
getting
when you
same
read the bottom one,
vision in your head.
yeah, you read the bottom one, you get it.
Yeah.
Now you read the top one again, and you go, we didn't need all that.
No, it slows it down way too much.
But it tells you
Cliche
what you
decor,
have to
yeah.
know, and that's all it is. All it's supposed to be in the action description is what do you have to know to understand what's going on. Your goal in writing a screenplay is to get them to read to the end.
Right.
That's your number one goal, is to get them to finish it.